Welcome to today's live virtual event, Women in STEM Ambassadors Insight and Impacts. At today's event, we will learn about the contributions of the Australian Government's Women in STEM Ambassador Initiative towards advancing gender equity and diversity in STEM, and to learn from experts about the latest insights, tools, and programs that can support you to progress greater equity in STEM education and workplaces. Hi everyone, my name is Akii Ngo, my pronouns are they, them, and for anyone who might benefit from a visual descriptor, I am an Asian person with light olive skin. I have pink, purple, and blue hair, which if people don't know is the bisexual flag. I am wearing a black blazer, a pale blue dress, and I'm sitting in my black electric wheelchair. And I would also like to do an acknowledgement of country. I would like to acknowledge the Bendigo people that are the traditional custodians of the land on which we are streaming from. I would like to also pay my respects to elders both past and present and extend that respect to other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are present here today and joining us online. I'd like to recognise that sovereignty was never ceded. This always was and always will be Aboriginal land. So just a bit of housekeeping for today. We are delighted to be joined online by viewers from across Australia representing education, research, government, community and the private sector. Thank you all for joining us today. The event is live streamed and is being recorded. For closed captions, please use the View Live Screen with Captions option and a new window will pop up in your Teams, Microsoft Teams. When in Teams, press the CC button for captions and keep the broadcast window open, as this is where you can submit questions and chat. For questions, comments, we will welcome questions and comments throughout your event, and we will appreciate your enthusiasm joining us online today. Questions and comments will be moderated. Submit your questions via the chat function on the right-hand side of the video window. We will direct questions to the panel at the end of each session we have today. I would now like to introduce Professor Lisa Harvey-Smith, Australia's Women in STEM Ambassador, for opening remarks.
Well, thanks very much, Akii, and a very warm welcome to everyone. As a visual description, I have fair skin and shoulder-length brown hair, and my pronouns are she, her. Back in December 2018, I was appointed Australia's first Women in STEM Ambassador. It was a difficult decision to leave my permanent position as a research scientist at CSIRO behind. It was a role I loved deeply, but I took the leap because I believed that gender equity in STEM was an issue of national importance. I knew that this challenge deserved a team of experts working full-time to support positive change on a national scale. And I wanted to be part of building that. And over the past 5.5 years, my team and I have spoken with more than 100,000 people directly through events and reached more than 100 million through the media. We've worked with countless organisations in the public, private and education sectors to drive positive change towards gender equity in STEM. We've developed our National STEM Careers Programme, Future You, which is used in schools across the nation to help young people and their teachers see the possibilities and understand the many varied career pathways into STEM. We've provided evidence-based advice to governments, businesses, peak professional bodies and educators to build national strategies and organisational action plans. And most importantly, we've built a talented research team who've created new knowledge and tools to help the sector deeply understand where inequities arise and how they can be overcome. Our research has studied the outcomes of Australian competitive research grants by gender and advised funding bodies and institutions on where change is needed. We've studied the effects of anonymising applications for access to research infrastructure, changing the way that many of our national research facilities are managed. We've synthesised a vast research literature to understand exactly what makes equity programs effective or ineffective. And we've co-designed a practical guide on effectively implementing workplace gender equity programs. And finally, we've created a national evaluation portal to help better design, monitor and evaluate the impact of our equity programs and share what works. So since 2018, women's participation in Australian STEM qualified workforce has increased by 38%. That's amazing progress, but we've still got a long way to go. Now, what the past 5.5 years has reinforced is that only by carefully examining the evidence about what works and by evaluating the impact of our actions can we truly hope to make sustained improvements on a national scale. In my National Press Club address in 2019, I said that change is a verb. In other words, to create change, we need to actually change something. Bold action is needed. But exactly what changes are made must be informed by the evidence. And luckily, we've got that in spades. So that is what this event is all about. It's a place to discuss the evidence and the practical actions that create positive change. It's a space for inspiration, for reflection and learning. And it's an opportunity for open dialogue on where we go next as a nation. Thank you for joining us today and for engaging deeply in this important work for our sector. So let's get started.